Hello, seeker, you who seek knowledge. Welcome to episode number 10 of Self Improvement and Spirituality in Practice, Blooming with Greicy Hoo. Today I'm going to talk about how I became my own guru and changed my reality. Yeah, it's been a long journey and it's not finished already because we are always evolving, right? And I want to share this because I want you to accomplish the same as I did. Greicy here. I've been a therapist for 18 years, an astrologer, and an independent spiritualist from Brazil. I became my own guru and a reality changer. And today I help people motivated by self improvement to become their own gurus too and to transform their reality consciously using their hidden inner powers. The cause of everything in your life is within you, and to change the effects, you need to work on the cause. Do you want to understand certain situations in your life and change your reality for the better? So stay here and let's have a conversation. Aren't you tired of feeling stuck in situations you cannot change? How would it be like if you could transform your reality and create a fulfilled and purposeful life? I help people motivated by self improvement to transform their reality consciously by making their unconscious forces work for them and using my unique techniques learned from high spirituality. I have personally mastered my unconscious forces to work for me and transform my reality. I also have established direct contact with my higher self or soul to know its purpose for me and receive inspirations, wise guidance, and help in my life in the form of miracles. Because that's what our higher self, our soul, does. It performs miracles in our lives. And my clients also achieve the same results. And also, I'm so proud of all these results. Nothing gives me more fulfillment than seeing my clients go from restless seekers to on guru in 90 days with my signature program, Transforming Reality Consciously. But I definitely didn't start here. I actually started frustrated by being stuck in a life that wasn't fulfilling and having to deal with situations I couldn't change. You are probably asking yourself, how did I go from here to being a recognized expert impacting people's lives and delivering amazing results to my clients? So let me share my story with you today. First, I have to say, I had an amazing life in another dimension, the astral dimension. But one day, someone thought I would be the right person to do a specific work in this physical world. And I was so naive that I accepted the challenge and decided to reincarnate, quickly. Because I have this approach to life. No matter what I have to do, I trust myself. So I thought, when I get there in a physical body, I will manage everything. And well, so what happened? I ended up in a family that was not my spiritual family. They were basically strangers with no positive emotional connection with any of them. And basically, I grew up being an emotional survivor, very strong, independent, and self confident. Because another option was to be passive aggressive, abused, depressed, a victim. And no way I would be like that. And fortunately, I was born with an excellent brain that I always worked out with a lot of studies. especially about spirituality, because I had to keep in contact with that other reality, the spiritual reality, in order not to go crazy and depressed in this neurotic world. So at 17, I started to study astrology and many other things like numerology, graphology, tarot, I Ching, palm reading, astral projection, and life after death was always a reality for me, not just a belief. And at 30, my mediumship has surfaced, and my contact with the other side became even stronger because then I could have more contact with my spiritual friends because all of them stayed in the other world. My consciousness with the mediumship opened up to the point of having memories of past lives and receiving inspiration to write and counsel people as an astrologer and later as a therapist. My spiritual quest was always the main part of my life, even when I had regular jobs, because I graduated in advertisement and I entered a trainee program in a big company and had several jobs in the administrative area. But the spiritual studies were always very important to me, and because I always wanted to know the whys, the what for, and the hows of life, how fate is built, how free is our will to change reality. Understanding was always my goal behind my studies, but at some point I felt something was missing. All authors and speakers weren't really explaining the real truth about how to create a wonderful life. Theory was interesting and sometimes amazing, but the practical teaching, how to really be able to put those teachings in practice and change reality, I always thought something was missing. In the beginning, astrology was like a hobby to me, but after some years, it became a second profession because with so many studies and knowledge about life and human nature, clients started to come to me. And one day, one of my clients asked to do therapy with me because she trusted me and my common sense. And at that time, I had just finished a long course about how to become my own therapist. And since I was already doing counseling as an astrologer, I decided to go for weekly sessions with her, and we got excellent results. Her life, especially the professional area, changed a lot for the better as a reflection, of course, of her inner changes because our external reality is also a reflection of our inner reality. So the transformation in my client's life was very clear. Meanwhile, I started to work with other clients also. And as a restless seeker, I kept studying and looking for higher knowledge always. And one day I heard about a closed course of a world renowned medium, Luis Antonio Gasparetto, with his spiritual mentors, teaching how to deal with reality and create it consciously. Then I thought, that's it. That's what I was looking for in my life. And I went for it. But after 3 years of that course, the content of the classes became kind of limited. The subjects were quite repetitive because the main thing we all have to learn in life is self possession. In 3 years, there were so many people coming and going in that course, and so the basic lessons were always being repeated. And I was feeling disappointed and frustrated because I didn't get all the answers I wanted. I had the feeling that there wasn't much for me to learn there anymore, and also my reality hadn't changed much until then. I wanted higher teachings. So I asked one of the spiritual mentors who had already offered me help in case I needed anything. Because at that time, I had a blog about self improvement and spirituality, and one of the spiritual mentors told me one day, I read everything you write, and if you need help with anything, just ask and we will help you. So I asked him for a more advanced version, a PhD course, and I quit the classes. At that time, I was stuck in a situation I couldn't change because after my father's death, I was in charge of his inventory and depending on the justice to sell the house I was living in with my brothers. But it was taking too long. Justice can be so slow. And one day, after a more serious circumstance involving one of my brothers, one of my spiritual friends, who is also a powerful white wizard, he decided to put an end of that situation. And without me knowing it, he made his magic to solve the whole situation. And when you are dealing with white magic, the light, the intention is always for the good of everyone involved. You cannot use white magic in a selfish way. So I didn't know he did this at that time. I knew about his decision a few days later, but the fact is, the next day he did his magic, I had a call with someone who just offered me to buy the house. That was amazing. The person just said to me, don't you want to sell me your house? It was so like, wow, oh my God, where did this came from? And when I knew he was responsible, this friend of mine, a spiritual mentor, a very powerful mentor, when I heard about this, I was so amazed. Then I saw something I had never seen possible before, and it changed it all for me. What I needed to do was awake the power within me so I could transform my reality consciously and quickly. After that, and after quitting the classes in the physical world, my life started to change for the better. And depending on the transformation you want in life, it can be, very quick, or it can take like more time, because if it is a complex situation, it will depend to have many factors involved, to be aligned to get to the final result. So at the end of it, of this process in my life, I could not only finish my father's inventory and sell the house, all my reality changed completely. I had money in my bank account. An opportunity to live in Toronto, Canada just appeared to me magically. So I took it as I had to leave the house because I was selling it. So I moved to Canada. I traveled to many places overseas for leisure because I was already working as a therapist through the internet. So I could live anywhere in the world. I had this freedom in my work. And then I moved back to Sao Paulo to live alone in a great place. I had total freedom to do whatever I wanted and without having to deal with annoying relatives anymore. Even my love life improved. And on the other side, I was receiving advanced spiritual knowledge with, remember, I asked for a PhD. So I was receiving advanced spiritual knowledge with tools and techniques to access hidden parts of the unconscious, as well as the higher self or soul. That was exactly what I had been looking for. I was being trained in getting deeper answers, guidance, and better results in changing reality and performing miracles quickly and easily. Then I started to use the techniques with my clients in private therapy sessions. By trusting myself as an instrument an agent of a higher intelligence guiding me, I intuitively received information about what to do, what to say, and how to work in every unique situation I had to deal with in my client's life. Results were immediate, and I could see my clients' lives changing without them having to do anything in the physical world. It was just amazing. I started to transform their lives with a subtle and powerful kind of magic, really operating miracles while teaching them how to do that on their own. Of course, because I wanted them to be independent. I didn't want them to depend on me for the rest of their lives to change any situation they were not happy with. In my spiritual quest, I spent decades reading books and listening to teachers and speakers. Many contexts were good, but not exactly practical in terms of really changing reality. Because one thing is you understand what was said, another thing is you really being able to put that knowledge into practice and change your life, right? I also went to positive thinking and mentalism techniques. They were okay, but I still couldn't manifest abundance and create a better life I really wanted to have. That was my journey. I studied so many things. Mediumship was amazing with direct contact with spiritual friends and mentors, but I still couldn't get answers to explain why so many struggles and hard challenges in my life. I also tried meditation. It was good to get inspiration and feel deep peace in my mind with my thoughts, but I still couldn't talk directly to my higher self to receive guidance about my purpose in life. And also, I had a lot of information about spirituality and self improvement. Something was missing because I still couldn't get to the core and change my reality the way I wanted it to be. All the so called gurus didn't seem to have the key to effective external transformation. So, with those higher teachings from the spiritual world, I could be able to feel my soul more and more. I started to talk to it. I learned about soul retrieval and sabotaging subpersonalities and how to deal with them, and it was such amazing teachings I had in another dimension. So at some point, I started to write a book to share my knowledge and experiences. But you know what happened? After 30 pages, I began to think, who are really interested in self improvement and spirituality? The vast majority of people want only bread and circus, meaning money to eat well and to have fun alone or not. They just don't care about evolving as human beings. And writing a book is a lot of work. I knew that because I had written a book many years before. So I just felt discouraged to go on with that project. And also, my physical life was great. I remember waking up every day and feeling happy and grateful for the great life I had. I had a lot of freedom and peace and comfort. But at that point of my life, I also started to feel disappointed with my entire life, until then, full of struggles and frustrations because I started to compare my previous life and the life I always had on the other side, the astral dimension, that was much better because there is where all my best friends and spiritual family were living. So I gradually decided to leave this world and ascend to the fifth dimension because, my life there was always much better. And I felt like I had, accomplished everything here, because I really could change my reality for the better. And I felt like, oh, okay, I already learned the secret and how to create reality consciously. So I can live now. It was like deciding to move to a different country. I remember when I decided to leave Sao Paulo, Brazil, to move to New York many years before, and to move to Canada later. The decision to move definitely to another dimension was just like this, to move to a different country, to a different place, and start a new life. So, what did I do? I spent all my money and prepared myself for months, leaving all my businesses in order. But I haven't consulted my soul, and that was a huge mistake. I have to say this to you, my dear listener. Always consult your soul about big decisions. I had made my decision on my own and didn't consult my soul, and she had other plans for me. So I ended up with no money and having to leave the apartment I was living so far. And because of this, I later made a vow to share my knowledge and help other people connect with their soul, to receive the right guidance and don't make huge mistakes as I did. Someone I thought was a friend offered me to move to their house, and since the other option was becoming homeless, I accepted. But I had no idea what was coming. Imagine a desolating place in the middle of nowhere. It was a tremendous reality shock because I was living in a great place in Sao Paulo until then, and suddenly I saw myself moving to an isolated site with no internet at home, no carrier signal, and having to walk 30 minutes on a dirt road to get to a small grocery store. And it rained almost every day there, so the road turned pure mud. And when you think things are bad enough, they can always get worse. That person I thought was a friend showed a side that just couldn't expect. After a few days, that person became aggressive, critical, and psychologically abusive. He was feeling better than me, superior, and I saw how much envy he had kept from me in the last years, and how hypocrite as well. Every time I welcomed him in my house with, tenderness, with generosity and kindness, that person was suddenly a big disappointment and a furious enemy. I have this conviction that everything in life is a matter of point of view. If you change your point of view, you change the way you see someone or the situation, and consequently, the way you deal with them. So I decided to stay firm by my side and see that person as a training to use everything I had learned about how to deal with unbearable people. It was an opportunity to practice. And even though I couldn't see a way out of that hell, because the little money I had left was to buy food, I worked hard to keep my face in good, because I knew everything would pass and we work for good, and I had to be strong and resilient to keep my emotional balance and also my mental health, not to go crazy in that terrible situation. So, trying to control my desperation, I asked my soul for a conversation, and I begged her in tears, please get me out of here. What do you need me to do? What do you want me to do to help you? I just need to get out of here. Please, please, please get me out of here. And my soul said, finish the book you started months ago. She was not angry with me because she really loves me unconditionally, but that was her condition. So I used all my discipline. Remember, there was no internet nor TV there, really nothing to do. I used all my discipline and finished my book in 2 months, and with pride because it was really good. Then, after finishing the book and revising the whole material, I focused my energy on changing my reality. First, I went deep into finding the real cause of being in that hell because I am a good person. After all, my work as a therapist is about helping people, and in that place, isolated place with no internet, I couldn't even talk to any client. And I knew I had done something to end up in a reality that had nothing to do with me. It was someone else's reality. And I tried to find the real cause. When you find the real cause of a situation, you feel this certainty inside of you. You feel like a aha moment. Then I had the inspiration to read a book that had been by my bed for years and I hadn't even started yet. And reading that book, finally, I had many insights with it, and suddenly I could finally identify the cause of being that reality, and I felt that aha moment. And that was a turning point because with that information, I could finally work on it, the cause, to change the effects and my reality. I used everything I knew, every technique to work with the powerful forces of my unconscious. I used my anger as a fuel to operate my magic and make the miracle I needed. And a few days later, after doing my magic with my unconscious forces, that person who I thought was a friend freaked out, and I decided to move back to Sao Paulo the next day. It was the trigger, a powerful trigger for me. I had almost no money and no place to stay, but I was very determined with a lot of courage and the positive mindset, trusting not only myself, but also my soul. And everything ended up well. Again, I was so proud of myself and really feeling powerful because I had made it, the miracle in my life. And to finish this story, I became my own guru, my true master, a sage magician. And that gave me not only spiritual independence, but also a strong self confidence and awareness of how powerful I am as the real creator of my own life. I recognize that my soul is in charge of everything, and because I'm in close contact and aligned with my divine part, I can have answers and solutions to any question and situation, even to help other people. It's a constant state of inner peace and faith that everything is okay in my life and I've been guided to a higher purpose. Because when I fulfill, it's my soul fulfilling through me to spread the good in the world and light into other consciences. My story, I just told you, is about becoming my own guru. I spent years in a spiritual path learning about how to achieve a higher level of consciousness, to create a better reality and change my life for the better, and also to inspire and share knowledge with other people. The main goal is to be independent, free, and get connected to one's own soul or higher self so it's possible to have answers to any question, enjoy physical, mental, emotional health, awake the inner powers, and manifest abundance and accomplishments in life. Besides being aligned with one's higher purpose to help other people and the world, it's about spiritual evolution in practice without having to starve alone, meditating to try to achieve nirvana. Really, you don't have to leave, to abandon the life you have, your job, your family, your house, to go to a distant place on the other side of the world to meditate and to starve in order to achieve enlightenment. Really, you don't need to do this, because I became my own guru without doing that sacrifice. It's not about becoming a better person only, it's about blooming to the best version and consciously stop unnecessary sufferings. Because by mastering your inner powers, you not only can transform your life, but also make a positive difference in the world. After so many struggles in my life, I could finally realize why my soul wanted me to stay here in this world. I had this call to teach other people, help them to become able to do the same thing as I did, to go from restless seeker to on guru. So I developed this program, and I have a unique opportunity for people motivated by self improvement who are stuck in situations they cannot change, as I was once. If I offered you to be in charge of your life and no longer be an unlucky victim of circumstances, and learn how to unlock your hidden powers and make them work for you with direct guidance from your higher self to find your true purpose and fulfillment in life in only 90 days. Pay attention to this without feeling guilty of the choices you've made in the past, without unconscious sabotaging subpersonalities and self doubts, and without wasting your time with a meaningless existence. So you can become your own guru, have direct and easy contact with your higher self, and transform your reality consciously. Would you take me up on that offer? Using this method I developed, I have personally mastered my unconscious forces to work for me and transform my reality, established direct contact with my higher self to know its purpose for me and receive inspirations, wise guidance, and help in my life in the form of miracles. I also gained access to a council of spiritual masters in the spiritual world. I launched a podcast, this one you are listening to, about self improvement and spirituality in practice in Portuguese and in English. And I also wrote a book teaching people how to do better with themselves, others, and life. And my clients are also able to consciously create their own reality. So that's my mission today. I'm not only a therapist, an astrologer, an independent spiritualist, I also became my own guru and a reality transformer. I help people motivated by self improvement to become their own guru as well and transform their reality consciously by using their hidden inner powers. But I have to be very honest. This opportunity isn't for everyone. Spots are limited because, in order to give a personal mentorship, I cannot have many people I will work with. Of course, the attention will be fully to my clients' needs and the process. The program is designed to be very intense, 90 days, 3 months, to really change the reality. So I will teach all my techniques and I will show all the tools, how to use them. I will share my secrets, and that's why I accept only few people for this program. So if you are really interested, if you are really, tired of being stuck in a reality you cannot change, if you are feeling frustrated in your life without clear purpose, DM me now. Send me a direct message and we can talk more about this program that is about transforming reality consciously. If you don't follow me on Instagram and are curious about how do I look like, well, I've been doing videos recently, short videos actually, talking about many different subjects on self-improvement and spirituality in practice. But I have to warn you, you can feel confused because how can I have been a therapist for 18 years and been studying astrology for 33 years already with that young, pretty face? Well, I have to tell you, when you deal with specific types of energy, they are like antioxidant. So I will share my secret with you. I am a Highlander. I don't age. That's why you can be surprised if you look at my face in those videos. So go check my Instagram. It's at Greicy Hoo, Greicyhoo. And as I said, spots for my program are limited. So DM me now and send me a message, and we can talk more about this. But only if you are really interested in self improvement and to become a better person and to really transform your reality. Okay? Stay well, and we'll talk again in the next episode.